Hey guys, so this is week 2 that my husband is gone. He is away at Army Basic Combat Training. This is his first week actually of reception. If you had watched my previous videos, he had gotten an cyst in his head the first week that he was supposed to be at reception and had to get emergency surgery. So that was actually like a medical week. And his reception got pushed back to this week. So this week he was actually in reception, and I just wanted to go over a little bit about reception, what to expect, what your spouse is actually doing while they're in reception, what you can do, and that kind of stuff. So basically, week 1 typically is reception. So basic combat training for the Army is typically 9 weeks, but they'll be gone about 10. Reception can last anywhere between 4 to 10 days. Typically it's about 7 days. So usually they'll ship out a week before they start basic. In the Army, basic starts on a Tuesday. Their family day is on a Thursday. They graduate on a Friday. That's at all bases, I believe. And just FYI, this is for the Army and our personal experience for the bases that my husband's at, and kind of what he's going through. This isn't for every single base. I know the Army has a few different places that they do basic. This isn't for all the branches, so just keep that in mind, that if your story is a little bit different, or you didn't experience this, or don't get mad if you watch this and expected it. This is just our experience and what we kind of had to deal with. So anyway, reception is typically week 1. Your spouse or whoever went into the Army will ship out. They will get picked up at the airport, take a bus to the reception. The first thing that they're going to do at reception is go in. They're going to get a briefing on what they are allowed to have with them, what they're not allowed to have with them. Basically, they're going to go get rid of all contraband. Contraband is anything they're not supposed to have, any cigarettes or stuff kind of like that, they have to get rid of, or say they had a pocket knife that they forgot about, whatever, I don't know, but that kind of stuff they have to get rid of. That'll be the first thing that they do. They're gonna get a little snack when they're there. I know my husband didn't arrive till like 11 at night, so it was a little, they basically got the snack, but then he was up all night. Then you will get your PT clothes. Your PT clothes are your physical training clothes, and you have to change into those, then put all of your personal belongings and clothes that you wore and brought away. You will, from here on out, be wearing the military Army clothes. Typically, then what's going to happen, I don't know day for day exactly how they do it, but I know a little rundown. One day you're going to have a day of paperwork, a lot of paperwork. If they're married, if they have children, they're going to fill out all these DEERS packet, their life insurance, which is insurance for you guys, and military IDs for the spouses. But otherwise, they're going to fill out their life insurance policy, beneficiary policy. They're going to fill out, direct deposit, anything you could think of, they're going to fill out again. I know a lot of it's computerized now, so most of it they probably already did with their recruiter or their future soldier. But they're going to basically do it all over again and, sign everything. FYI, your spouse may tell you that your DEERS information was mailed to you. I just recently found out that it can take up to 4 weeks. It has to go through the chain of commands to get signed before they can actually send it to you. So it could take up to 4 weeks, so don't get discouraged if your husband says, oh, I sent it out a week ago like mine did and I freaked out. It can take actually a little bit of time because they do have to go through a chain of commands to get everything signed. So that is basically day 1. A lot of paperwork, a lot of sitting around. There are going to be a lot of people there, whoever he arrived with or she arrived with, and then whoever is coming that day. And that's kind of the first day of reception. It's paperwork. You get no sleep, snacks. You get pretty good meals at reception. You're going to have a day of dental. Dental is where you're going to go get x-rays. They're going to do all of your dental work, a write-up of the plan that you're going to need for the future. Basically, you're not going to get any of your dental work done until you actually get to AIT. Unless you're my husband, who had the cyst and had to get it surgically removed in his mouth and whatever. Everything else is going to be weighted, like getting your wisdom teeth, you have to get pulled out. They'll make all of that a plan for AIT, not in typically, not in basic. So you'll have a whole day of dental, and they're going with like, you know, I want to say 100 other people. So you're just basically waiting in line for your turn, doing your turn, and then waiting again. It's a lot of a waiting game. Then they're going to have a day of medical. Medical is basically where they're going to do everything that they did in MEPS all over again. They're going to go through their physical again. They're going to get tested, blood work, anything you could think of. Their eye exams. My husband's going airborne, so he has to take this ear popping test. All of that stuff will be another day. You will also that day go and see a bunch of doctors for immunizations. My suggestion to you, for your spouse, for your whoever's going in, have them get their immunization records. My husband did not, and when I finally got in touch with him, he had to get over 30 shots. Basically, they're going to walk down this straight line, and a doctor is going to poke them in one arm, then the other arm, back to the other arm, and you're literally just going to walk in a line and keep doing that until you have all of your immunizations. So if you can get those records, we couldn't obtain my husband's. But if you can get those records, I would highly suggest doing it. My husband said his arm was very sore. There's also a lot of talk about the peanut butter shot. The peanut butter shot is a penicillin shot. You get it in your butt. And some branches, I believe, give it, some don't. I know somebody who didn't have to get it, but my brother, who's in the Marine Corps, did have to get it. So that kind of will depend. You'd have to check with your actual spouse or whoever's in if they got it. My husband did get it, actually the day, but a different day than he got his shots. Basically, a penicillin shot in your butt is going to make your entire butt and leg go numb, and it stinks, it hurts. And I can tell you that as a medical student. But basically you're going to get this shot in your butt. You have to rub it out, but you can't do it in front of anyone because that's considered sexual harassment in the military. So you have to either look at your butt on your chair or go to the bathroom and rub it out, or, you know, rub up against a wall. That's the only way that the pain's going to kind of ease away, but you can't physically rub it in front of someone. So, some people do get it, some people don't. I don't know what the stipulations are that would make you have to get it. Like I said, I know my brother did get it. I know my husband got it in reception. But I know somebody else who didn't have to get it in reception. I know for a fact, though, if you go overseas, you get that amongst a bunch of other shots that are not, they're not pretty. Anyway, so that's the peanut butter shot. If anyone ever talks to you about the peanut butter shot and they're not looking forward to it, it's not something to look forward to, but I mean, you're going into the military, I'm sure you can handle a shot. So that's your medical day. Basically, a bunch of shots, a bunch of exams, typical. And like I said, you're going to be waiting with 100 other people, so you do your turn, then you keep it moving on the line. You're also going to have a day where you go and you get measured for your uniforms. In the Army, you are provided with four. You are provided with 4 uniforms to begin with that doesn't come out of your pay. But like the Marine Corps, you do pay for it. So you'd have to check on that, but I know you have a whole day of getting fitted. Everything from your wrists to your ankles to your head to your everything is going to get measured. You're going to get these uniforms that are specific to your size. So that takes a whole day, fitting for your boots and all of that. Then you're going to have a day of doing basically your qualifications for your gender, for your age, for your height, for your weight, whatever your qualifications were. You have to do that. You have to be able to run your miles, do your sit-ups, do your push-ups, all of that stuff. You're going to have to do that another time in reception, and you have to qualify. Otherwise, I know the Army has a thing called Fat Camp. They will send you to Fat Camp and push back your basic until you're able to qualify, but you only get like a certain amount of time, and if you can't do it, then you're disqualified and you get sent home. Typically though, you already done all this with your future soldiers, so you should be good, but that's a whole nother day, is doing your physical aspects, making sure you qualify on everything, and especially for your MOS. There are different qualifications for certain MOSs than just the standard qualifications to get into the military. Keep that in mind. That's basically your reception week. It's a lot of getting everything settled, getting everything done, doing what you got to do before you actually go to basic. In reception, your spouse can possibly have his phone still on him. For my spouse, personally, he is at Fort Sill. It's a very, very strict base, probably the strictest in the Army. So he did not have his cell phone accessible to use. He had it on his person for like the last 2 days, I think, because he had finished reception and was waiting to be shipped to basic. But before that, he didn't have, for the first 2 weeks, almost in total, he didn't have a cell phone. It was very stressful. You don't have an address to write to them. You don't have any way of contacting them. And for me, getting it pushed back, it was very stressful. So keep that in mind. I know some bases like Fort Jackson, in reception, you will keep your cell phone and you're able to make a phone call each night. There's no texting, there's no FaceTime, so don't expect them to be like contacting you all day, every day. It's not like that. But some bases are a little bit more lenient. I also know that security got a lot stricter now because of all these threats and stuff that have been going on. So security is a lot stricter now. I don't know about a couple months ago then to now. I don't know if that's why it changed, but I know that stuff is a lot stricter now. But I also know that Fort Sill is the strictest Army base, and that's just happened to be where my husband is. So that's basically reception. They're going to get through reception, and when they do first get there, they will call you, and just basically they're going to read off a script and tell you, this is future soldier so-and-so. I arrived at reception safely. I will be in contact with you when I can, yada, yada, yada. So they will get a call saying that they're there and they made it safe, but then from there, it's kind of a hit or miss if you are going to be able to still contact them or not. They won't have an address until they arrive at basic. So basically the next step is they're going to do all of their reception stuff. Then they're going to get onto another bus. They're going to put their heads down so they can't see where they're going. They're going to be brought to basic combat training. Basic combat training, they're going to, this was Tuesday for my husband, 2 days ago. Today's Thursday. So sorry the video is so late. I was just so anxious waiting to hear from him and everything, and I didn't get my call till finally last night. So that's what I was waiting for to make the video. But he arrived Tuesday to to basic combat training, and basically they start their red phase. They're just going to go through all their stuff. Like I said, my husband arrived Tuesday and began Tuesday, but I didn't get my phone call till Wednesday night. So it could be anywhere within 48 hours. So he called and just said, this is so-and-so, and I'm just letting you know that I've arrived at basic combat training. I will be in touch with you when I am given the privilege, or I earn the privilege to contact you again. I will write to you with my address. That is a new thing that they just, I don't know if it's his base only, but I had been walking around all week with a pen and paper and a recording device on my phone ready for him to give me the address when he called, because I know it's a script and he was just going to say it and hang up. So I was like prepared. Everywhere I went, I had this little pad and paper ready for him. And then he calls and was like, he said, basically, I sent out a letter today in the mail with with my address for you to write letters, but also with who is allowed to write to me. So I think it's because of what's going on right now that they got so strict. But like now only certain people I can give the address to actually to contact him. It would be his obligation to contact them if they're not on the list that I'm given. I'm also going to receive, probably within the next week, I'm going to say, a commander's letter. That's going to give you the rundown. Typically, when their graduation is planned for or scheduled for, hopefully, you probably will get that. I'm going to say I haven't received mine yet. I haven't received anything yet. So typically they say that can come anywhere to your first, second, or third week of actual basic, not reception, because they switch drill sergeants from reception to basic. They're not the same. So their basic combat training drill sergeants have to send out that letter, and they're not obligated to send it out. It's your soldier's responsibility to get you that information, so make sure that you stress that to them. The commanders do not, or the drill sergeants do not have to send you the letter with the graduation information, with the address, or any of that. That's optional for them. So it's your soldier's responsibility to get you that information. So that's basically reception for you up until where we're at. I got the phone call last night. I know he is there. I know he is safe. I know he's already begun. And in basic, they do not have their cell phones unless they're given them for a phone call, I guess. But, you know, that we'll have to see as we go along. But that's basically what for the soldier to expect. For you at home, a big thing that we did was I wrote, I'm going to say about 15 letters to my husband over the span of like 2 months before he left. So that when he left, I had put them all into this little envelope for him and snuck them into his bag and sent him with them. And some family pictures of me, everyone in the family, just so he had something to look at. And when he called, he had called a couple of nights ago. He got a 3-minute phone call. And literally when I say 3 minutes, it's 3 minutes to the T. But he had called the other night and he was just beside himself that I actually thought to do this and how sweet it was, and that it really made a difference for him to be able to look at his girls, his wife, his family, and it made a big difference. So my suggestion is write a few notes. It doesn't have to be as many as I did. I also sent some pictures that the girls drew for him, some family pictures. I sent all that with him so that basically his first week in basic and his week of reception, the first 2 weeks that he was there, he would have stuff to look at until I got an address and was physically able to write to him again. For me, it ended up being 3 weeks, so the letters probably are holding out, which is excellent. But, just a little something to keep them kind of chippery. It is going to be rough. It usually hits them the first couple of weeks. Be prepared for it. Also, what we did back home for us, I got one of those cards that you can open and record yourself on, and I had him record a little "I love you, I miss you, I'm coming home to you" for the girls, so that they could hear his voice when they got really upset, and that kind of little stuff. So that was a big thing. The other big thing that we did before he left for reception is make sure that you have all of your paperwork in order. You have, if you're married or whatever, a power of attorney so that you can take care of the bills. Or if they have car loans, student loans, sometimes you can defer them so that they don't have to pay them while they're away at basic. Make sure you handle all that before he's gone, because it can get very stressful if you don't have that information. So that's just a little FYI. You may not think of that kind of stuff, but it's important that you do it. So that was basically it for us. It definitely gets a little bit easier. My first week, I was a freaking mess all the time. And I'm not an emotional person by any means, shape, or form. But it hits you when your best friend's gone. Like, you're always there for 9.5, almost 10 years now. You've always been there. We've always been through everything together. And then, boom, you're gone. I don't get a phone call. I don't get letters. Like, you're literally you disappear for a week. It's very stressful. The hardest thing now on the second week is, I'm going to say the little things. Like, he used to cuddle with the baby when she wasn't feeling good, and the other day she had a cold and she was just crying for daddy, and I didn't know what to do. She just wouldn't get comforted by anybody else. Lo and behold, I put her down on the floor. She goes over and takes his picture, puts it next to her, put her hands on his head, and then went to sleep. So it's those little things that break your heart. it's hard. I don't know if it will ever get completely easy, but the biggest thing for you at home is, one, pick a battle buddy for yourself. Your spouse is going to have a battle buddy in there. Pick a battle buddy for yourself back home, whether it's family or friends, just somebody that you can turn to when you're really stressed out, you're feeling down, you just need somebody to talk to. Have that person and let that person know, like, I'm going to go through it right now and I just need to know that you're going to be there for me. That is a big thing. As much as you think, oh, well, my family's going to help me out and da-da-da-da-da. No, talk to somebody before they go and just have that little extra nudge, kind of, to say. Also, so yeah, you want your battle buddy at home. Also, the second week, it gets easier. Like, I'm not upset all the time, but like I said, it's the little stuff. So, like, grocery shopping. He always came with me grocery shopping, so now I have to lug in all these water bottles, these Gatorades, all this stuff by myself, and it's like, damn you. But, that's hard. And the other hardest thing that I found was just not being able to talk to him. It is these specific phone calls, and that gets difficult. So have somebody in your corner to just be there for you. I know that our husbands or your wife or whoever signed up for the military, and they're the ones going in, they're the ones going through all the physical aspect, but you kind of signed up too. Like, it's not easy, and they're being ripped out of their environment, but you're being put into this new environment doing this on your own. And yes, it's something we signed up for, but just remember that it's okay to turn to other people. It's okay to need somebody. Also remember, though, that you are now a military spouse. You have to act like it, which I guess in my last vlog I wasn't really acting like it because I had to keep it real with some people. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. Anyway. But I guess just remember that you want to be presentable. You want to be, not saying that, you know, you got to look perfect all the time. Not saying any of that. What I'm saying is, keep in mind what you're posting on your social media sites, or keep in mind how you're going about yourself, handling yourself, who you're speaking to. It's just very important. And it's easy for us to forget that and just get mad, but you have to remember that. The other big thing is to support them in basic. It's easy to get engulfed in what's going on back at home and just want to, like, be like, how could you leave me? This is what's going on. But, you know, and it's easy to tell them how much you're missing them, but I bet you they're missing you 10 times more. So just remember that you are the supportive one. Be supportive. Be cheery. It sucks. It really sucks. And that is one part that I don't think will ever get easier. I told my husband everything. We were best friends. He was always there for me. So it sucks. But they need the support right now because they are going through the physical aspects of all this, and they were the ones ripped away from everybody. So just remember that when you do get their address and you can finally write. Also writing letters. I write each day a little bit. Just a little clip. This is what our daughters did today. This is what I did today. This is what's going on. Also, his favorite TV shows, I try and keep him updated, like Walking Dead. He loves Walking Dead. He was so upset that it just started right before he had to leave. So each letter that I write him, I put a little, you know, this is what happened this week in The Walking Dead. Just to kind of keep him in check with reality, but also keep his mind back home and busy. And I always, you know, remind him that I love you, I'm proud of you, and this is such a great thing. But you also want to kind of give them that little piece of home that they're missing right now. So that, I mean, that's my advice. Do what you want. It's not my business, but that's my advice. Piece of advice that I was told by several people: when you write your spouse letters, when you write anyone letters, do not spray it with perfume. Do not put kisses on the envelopes. On the letter, it's okay because nobody's going to see those, but on the actual envelope, strictly write the address and return address. They will get what's called smoked for it. You do not want your husband or your wife getting smoked because of you. I'm sure they will still do it because they want that letter and they look forward to that letter. But FYI, I was warned, so I'm warning you guys. Don't put anything on the envelope. Don't spray the letters. And also pictures, be careful what you send. If it's a heavy thing, the drill sergeants are going to open it and look at your picture. Also, there are how many other people in their barracks that will see those pictures, so use your brain. And no care packages unless they request something specific that they need from home. Do not send a care package, especially with food. Do not. Also, last piece of advice for you at home, to make the time go by, keep yourself busy. Find a hobby, find something to do, to keep yourself busy, keep yourself occupied. It makes the time go by a lot faster. So I know in the beginning everyone's going to say, oh, the time's going to fly. And let me just tell you, in the beginning, I was like counting down the minutes of each hour of every day. But now I've kind of gotten back into a routine without my husband. It's very important that you keep yourself busy. Find something to do or whatever to just, it helps with the time to go by. Don't sit there and dwell on him being gone or her being gone. Just keep yourself active, keep yourself busy, stay in touch. There's also certain websites that you can get in touch with other spouses from your spouse's platoon or unit that you can be in touch with and kind of touch base with them as well. There's also sometimes photography pages that you could go to kind of touch base with them. I'm sure I'm not the only YouTube video that you could find on all of this, but just keep yourself busy. Don't sit there and be like, this is going to be the longest 10 weeks of my life, and keep yourself busy. So this is week 2 for us. It will technically be your first week, so hopefully it's a little bit easier for you, but you'll be feeling a lot sadder. I'm able to get it together a little bit more because now it's my second week. It does get better though, I promise you. It's gotten better. It's still, you're going to have your moments. There are still times where I just wish I could hold him and be with him. That feeling is probably not going to go away. Time will tell. But just know that they are thinking the same about you, and you can get through this. If I could get through it after the hell of a week that I've had for the last 2 weeks, then you can get through it. Trust and believe. So that is reception week from his point of view, from my point of view back at home, and we will see how the journey goes. Any requests that you have, let me know. Like I said, I'm going to try and do these videos each week and keep you guys posted on what to expect, but it could end up being like the same thing, so I might spread them out through phases. They go through a red, white, and blue phase, so maybe I'll do it that way. I'll have to see. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. And I will be back in touch soon. Any requests that you have, please message me. Any added comments that you want to put about maybe your experience, your base, whatever, you can put in the comments. You know, like I said, this is just my experience. Nobody's forcing you to watch the videos. Nobody's forcing you to sit there and take everything I'm saying like down to the T, that's part of their contracts. No, this is our experience. There are also a lot of threats going on, so things are high security now. Things have gotten very strict now. You have to remember that with the times, things change. With what's going on in the world, things change, you know, so just keep that in mind. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm feeling a little bit better this week, but like I said, it'll be a week-to-week thing, and the countdown has officially begun. So I'm excited. I can't wait. I miss him. I miss my husband to death. But we'll see. This is reception week. Week 1. My week 2, of course. And we will be in touch soon. Like I said, any requests, any comments, leave below. Subscribe, like, and wish us luck. Thanks for watching, guys. Little side note, I always do my videos in the car because somebody asked me why I'm always in the car. I don't have the best lighting in the house, so it's easier for you guys to see me. I feel like the lighting's just better in the car, but if I'm offending somebody, I mean, I can do them in the house. But that's really just why I do them in the car. Side note, I do have a house.